Well, it pretty much looks like there's only one division winner here in this division. Let's rock. All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Antonio, and welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast. Today, I am talking about the NFC East. Last few times, I had gone over in each of the divisions. I started off with the North, then went to the South, and did the AFC East the last time we were here. And this time, we're doing the NFC East, otherwise known as the home of America's team, pretty much. But, anyways, this division is pretty much wide open, or maybe not. But, anyways, this division is going to be interesting this upcoming season. But if you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, let's get this division prediction started. First up is the Washington Commanders that still need to get their name changed, by the way. But after letting go of Sam Howell to the Seattle Seahawks and trading him away, which I was pretty surprised with why they did that. But anyways, they went out in the draft and got Jaden Daniels out of the University of LSU, the Heisman Trophy winner, which we'll see what he does. I'm excited and intrigued to see what this team can do. But anyways, they also went into free agency and signed a boatload of weapons, including Austin Eckler and also along with guys on the defensive side like Frankie Louvu and for future Seattle Seahawk Ring of Honor member Bobby Wagner. But anyways, this team is going to be relatively surprising next year. Which, if they beat the Cowboys, if it's my guy Bobby Wagner that does it, oh man, I'm gonna be in a frenzy if they do beat the Cowboys. But anyways, enough about that. This team is going to be relatively interesting to see because Jaden Daniels is a really amazing player. I was able to watch him during his time up at LSU. He was a sensational player and he was amazing. We'll see if that transpires to the NFL level, which we'll see. But if I had to give a ceiling for a floor for this team, if at all worst case scenario, Jane Daniels has some growing pains and ends up sending this team to a 7-10 record. But in a best case scenario that I could see for this team is, and hang on with me at this, 10-7, because if the Commanders and Dan Quinn can do something, if they can form a really decent team, then watch out for the Commanders because they could be a sleeper team this year. But of course, we'll see what happens. But let's move on to the next team. Next up, you got the New York Football Giants, which always reminds me of the kids' movie Madagascar. But anyways, it was one line in there that kind of reminded me of the New York Giants. Every time I hear it, I always think about that one scene. I'm not gonna show it, but anyways, the Giants, they're pretty much a swamp right now.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
But it's a simple fact. The Giants, they're legitimate trash. But this team is, I mean, they just look terrible. I mean, sure, Drew Lock could start, which I'm hoping he does, so we can lead this team out from the abyss. But anyways, Daniel Jones has not proven himself yet. He won a playoff game, but has not really done anything since then. But anyways, this Giants team needs to show up, which now you add Brian Burns to an already dangerous uh, front seven with now Dexter Lawrence and rising superstar Kayvon Thibodeau. But of course, we'll see what happens. But as far as the floor record goes, if that worst case scenario, they end up like the Panthers were last year at 2-15, pretty much. At best case scenario, they end up getting a few wins and going 7-10. which is pretty much the only high I could see for them because they're just a swamp. But now let's move on to the next team. Next up was the team that had one of the worst collapses in NFL history, the Philadelphia Eagles. That had one of the losses came against my team, the Seattle Seahawks, as you can clearly see me rocking. But anyways, the Eagles got out there and got a few more weapons, and they're always better at drafting than the Dallas Cowboys for crying out loud. But anyways, the Eagles are right now the front runner to win the division because they have a much better team than the Cowboys. They got better defense, they got better offense. They're just more stacked, especially after getting Saquon Barkley from their division rival Giants. But they also got out there in the draft and got three big defensive weapons: Cooper DeJean, Quinton Mitchell, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. That gives me vibes of Bobby Wagner. But also, they added on to already Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, along with Darius Slay, which this team is getting more stacked every year, and they're already ahead of the Cowboys as far as anybody else is concerned. But as far as the floor goes for this team, if at worst case scenario, they do similar to what they did last year and go 10-7. But at best case scenario, I have this team going 15-2 because their offense is amazing. They are stacked top to bottom. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC East and has made a Super Bowl appearance, by the way, Cowboys. But anyways, that's my record prediction for the Philadelphia Eagles. But now let's move up to the next squad. But next up, and last but not least, is the team known as quote unquote America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys, this team was the opposite of all in, if you ask me. They made more releases than they did signings, for Pete's sake. They released boatloads of guys. They released Michael Gallup. They lost also along with Jonathan Hankins, who went to my Seattle Seahawks. They lost Derek Armstrong, Vander Esch due to retirement, which had that neck injury, rest his career in peace, and also along with Stephon Gilmore, which was a big mistake, and also another big piece in Tony Pollard and Tyron Smith. I mean, Cowboys, for real. I'm going to be honest here. What in the Sam Hill are you all doing right now? Because you're making it a little too easy for us Cowboy haters to troll you. At least Jerry Jones is trying to convince Cowboy fans, crying out loud. I mean, at least make it difficult for us. At least make it difficult because it's basically been the Eagles all the way to win the division this year. Pretty much everybody's talking about it. Just give a little praise to the Cowboys so that way it's a harder smack in the face when it comes time playoffs. But at least make it difficult on us. But in all seriousness, no trolling here. The Cowboys are the definition of a not all in team, pretty much in realistic fashion. They still have Dak Prescott. They still got CeeDee Lamb. They still got Brandon Cook. They still got Jake Ferguson. And they still got Trevon Diggs, who is still an overrated corner. And also along Jerome Bland, that set the pick six rookie record last year. And Micah Parsons. And that's pretty much it. That is not enough. And Tyler Guyton is not enough as well as far as rookie draft goes. This team is in a heck hole right now, and they're making it too easy for the Cowboy haters like myself, as I mentioned earlier. And it's just too easy right now. Y'all are making it too easy on us. At least make it difficult for us, Jerry Jones. At least. But anyways, and also the Cowboys coach during the loss of the Cowboys said they have a championship program. Well, do y'all have a championship program right now? Because last I checked, the last time you made a Super Bowl, I wasn't even born yet. Sorry, I just can't help it. I just can't help it, all right? But anyways, the Cowboys, they just are not a good enough team. And the last few teams that won a Super Bowl in your division have been the Cowboys twice by beating the Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles that also beat the Patriots. Pretty much every single team that has won against Tom Brady has beaten them in the Super Bowl, which y'all have failed to do for 13 straight playoff appearances. But we'll, of course, wait and see what happens. But as far as record prediction goes, floor for this team, at worst case scenario, is they have a load of injuries and Dak Prescott ends up not being an MVP candidate and being absolute garbage, and ended up sending this team to a 7-10 record. But then, as far as best case scenario, if they do relatively decent, I could see them going 9-8 because they're not going to go 12-5 again. And we'll see what happens. But now it is time for my divisional record predictions. I meant to say standings, but let's get this started. So starting us off at last place, no surprise here, the New York Giants, because the Giants, they're just a swamp, as I mentioned earlier. Next up, in third place, I got the Washington Commanders. Sorry, Bobby, I have to do it to you. But because the Commanders, they are still going to have a little growing pains growing into a new rookie quarterback, which I would be lucky if Bobby Wagner got traded midway through next season, if you ask me. Well, anyways, enough about that. Second place, of course, no surprise here, the Dallas Cowboys, because the fact is, they are not ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are just so much more stacked. Who is the number one seed? Because the Eagles, they're more all in, and they know how to draft, for Pete's sake, Jerry Jones. But, anyways, recap: Eagles at 1, Cowboys 2, Commanders 3, and the Giants come in last place again. Let me know in the comments what you guys think down in the comment section below. Who do you guys think is going to win the division? And if it's the Cowboys, you're very wrong. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you all in the next one. Ciao for now.